Hi, this is Bryan Sanders. I am the director, actor, and producer of the Papercut 2 movies. We are doing the director's commentary for the Papercut 2 short film, Chuck's New Job, which takes place after the events of Papercut 2, 4 months to be precise. And along with me
is Eric Sanders, the co-producer, co-cinematographer, all the above, Johnny on the spot, uh, awesomeness, sidekick.
And before we push play here, just a few quick notes before we do the active commentary. This short film was actually a cut scene, an entire cut scene from the feature film Papercut 2. We just shot so much extra footage that we took out this Ghostbusters scene, homage scene, and
it was the second scene we shot, right?
Literally the second scene, completed scene we shot in Ferdinand, Indiana. And it was just so massive. And then we looked at the footage and if we just go back and reshoot another 1 day of reshooting, we can actually have a standalone movie. So that's what this is. So the Papercut 2, Chuck's New Job, was an entire cut scene for Papercut 2, tweaked a little bit. And the first day of shooting of Chuck's New Job was in October of 2010. It was just 1 day of shooting, and then the reshoots were August 2011 or 11 or 12.
Okay, yeah.
So there was 2 years difference between the first day of shooting and the last day of shooting, and
crazy.
Thank God we was able to get Brian Harrison back, who's one of our lead actors, to come back and replay his scene from 2 years ago.
That's
to
crazy.
Finish this movie.
Yeah.
So
you got we'll talk about it, but we got the super awesome Ecto-1 car, which you guys will see right about now. Chuck's new job.
And Chuck's last job.
Chuck's last job.
Wait, it turns out in the issue 3 comic book. Okay, we have a wide shot here of looks like some generic vehicle, but as
let's just cut to the chase. Let's talk about this car.
Okay,
this car
it is
freaking cool.
It is the Ecto-1.
It is the most accurate replica of the Ecto-1 to date
on the East Coast. Yeah. And now we're gonna have a little cut scene here. This newspaper article and the one inside of it are actual newspaper articles. That's the article that the local town did on us. That's another one a few years prior they did on me. But those are actual newspaper articles paying homage to our shooting here today. And so those aren't prop newspapers.
Yeah.
And one of my local friends from the Louisville Ghostbusters chapter, Nick, is doing the voiceover for the Ecto-1 through the intercom channel. Now, originally, I was supposed to be working with Tim Johnson and Jason Weiss of the Denver Ghostbusters from Hank Braxtan film, but there was just a few production hang-ups that I wasn't able to get their lines through. But this actually, my original director's way would have went through, I would have had the Denver Ghostbusters homaged here, but we may do with the Louisville chapter, and they just did just as well.
Yeah. So about this house, let's talk a little bit about this house, because it was a historic house that the town was trying to save.
Yes.
And that was one of the reasons they did a story about us, because they were indie filmmakers come to the historic house, is trying to preserve it or whatever.
A local business was trying to buy the property and make it into a subdivision or something, and 5 people chipped in, including the editor of the local newspaper, who was there on site and did a story on us while we were doing this. So it actually just kind of played into the more exposure of the movie, more exposure of the house, and get more publicity. But this house was actually one of several trying to be picked up. Okay, now this person on the phone, I believe, is Jesse Sosa, who worked on the Ghostbusters video game. So this guy who animated Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd into the Ghostbusters video game has a cameo as a client needing help from getting ghosts out of his house. But the house itself, we actually tried to get more historic properties around Kentucky. I was just trying to find some nice 200, 100-year-old houses that were just beautiful. I wasn't really interested in true ghost hunting. But whenever I pitched the idea to people, they actually literally thought I was like ghost hunting, and they're like, we don't have any ghosts here. And I'm like, no, like
we're scare away business or something.
Yeah, there was like, you're gonna scare away, some of these bed breakfasts, and I'm just like, no, you don't understand. Like, we're shooting a movie. It's like parodying Ghostbusters. It's not real.
I've got all the Ghostbuster props.
I made the proton pack, a PKE meter,
all the lights up.
All the Kylie stuff is off of the Extreme Ghostbusters. Mm-hmm. So I contacted, basically, I think it was a website like Indiana Historical Society, and I started looking through properties through their portfolio, and I came across the Wilhelm House. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but that's the house right here.
The house with the W on the front door.
And I talked to the owners, and they were enthusiastic. They were enthused. They loved the idea, and they loved the movie Ghostbusters. So it's like, great. So we're going to shoot in this like 103-year-old house, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, mostly all original. But they were in the middle of renovations, so that's why there was no furniture and stuff in it. I would have loved to have some furniture, because then we could do like chairs moving and drawers and rocking chairs rocking by themselves. But we was just kind of working with what we had, so that's why the house was bare. We just kind of made do with what we had. But it still was a very fabulous location and had a really true historical significance.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And my proton pack was made. Now I made a lot of added accessories to it. They kind of cobbled it up over the years. But it was the original pack was made by Norm Gagnon, who in the Ghostbusters community has been building props for a long time. And
Thank you, Norm.
And I had it signed by Ernie Hudson there. You can see the silver paint on the side of the Silotron.
You had lights.
I added lights in the gun and the Silotron and the power cell. They all lit up. I didn't have the nice fancy light kits, because I think Hyperdyne Labs makes some light kits. They're like $500, but they're worth it. But not for my budget. I think it was just like some reflective material inside the cake pan and just like a headlamp from I think it was like a nightlight thing for camping or something. You just click the button and it came on.
But it worked, and it looked good.
Very authentic with the props, and did a lot of research in Kylie's gear, making the Extreme Ghostbusters gear, because no one, honestly, in the Ghostbusters community, Extreme Ghostbusters is kind of frowned upon. But then again, it's kind of like what Ghostbusters 3 needed to be, and moreover, so probably what the reboot should have been, which is Ghostbusters 3 is basically passing the torch to this new generation of Ghostbusters. And so Extreme Ghostbusters wasn't a remake, but it was a continuation of the original real Ghostbusters. So,
not that there's anything wrong with that, but it made a lot of people unhappy. So we just want everybody to know we did it first.
But we tried to give Extreme Ghostbusters true love, and we really did a good job with the props and the Ghostbusters lore. Now we get to... Now, I had a more awesome idea for this extra dimension, but like I said, time and budget...
We still, if you haven't watched the other commentary, we talked that we were shooting on a generation of Premiere Pro before HD, so before 1080p editing was available, and all the special effects scenes were frame by frame.
And it caused the software to crash a lot, and it was just every like render a thing, it would crash. And there's Cthulhu from H.P. Lovecraft, the ancient god of destruction.
Where'd you get that prop?
It was a mannequin, I believe. I modified.
Was it for like a Dungeons and Dragons thing, or
I think it was like something like that, some sort of tabletop campaign.
Yeah, you're awesome.
I modified it.
Awesome blast.
I know you're kind of messed up when you have Cthulhu in the closet. I mean, you're pretty much dead, because he's the eternal god of destruction and can't be killed. So I just shot a proton beam into Cthulhu's face, and now he's getting ready to rip through our dimension and destroy us all. And it was kind of funny, because a lot of Ghostbusters fan films and like a little lore and stuff, that you always have the Ghostbusters winning and capturing the ghost and like saving the day. But this time it's like we actually did more harm than good, and we didn't even catch the ghost. We
all run away.
We just run away while he's destroying the house and get ready to. Now, we did have a much wider special effects shot of him busting through the roof, but it was very
It would have been insane.
It would have been an insane amount of editing, and so that's why we never saw the reverse of this shot.
2011, but we just kept telling them to look higher and higher and higher because that's how high the shot went. But yeah.
So now we have a wider shot, and you clearly see the generic car from the beginning is actually the Ecto-1. Now we had a lot of technical glitches here. There's we had the camera in the window there. I had to copy and paste some sky to cover up the camera.
I was mesmerized by the car. I was not looking at my reflection in the window, which I should have been.
Looking back on it, we probably maybe should have parked at a different non-conspicuous place because we parked right in the middle of town. And literally every single person, and there's a car just driving in the background, and it's going to unload a bunch of kids. And
they're going to walk over and take pictures with
they're touching the car, they're walking in the shot, and I'm telling Lauren, the guy that owns the car, hey, we got to finish this movie because we only got one day.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because he was playing crowd control while we were shooting.
Yeah.
And there's literally there's a guy right now taking a picture. It's right there on the driver's side. He's just
but
taking a picture.
Maybe that's what people would actually do. They would just if this was happening in a real spot,
the car is so damn awesome. I mean, cool. Just the 59 millimeter.
Lauren did a great job. Everything was
every nut and bolt.
To the sticker on the side where you see the decal sticker in the movie. It's just a little bit off. He made it exactly the amount off that it was supposed to be to replicate the movie. Even the imperfections in the car, he so
mimicked.
detailed.
And down to the antique lighting equipment, and there's a really hard to find aircraft gauges on top that he located. And I watched this guy build this replica on the gbprops.com or now it's GB Fans. I watched him build it, and he just so happened to finish the restoration because the longest time the car didn't have an engine, and I was just kind of hoping that please just get the car finished when I get done with this movie. And he got done with the car literally a week before I needed to shoot with it, and I was just so glad because it was just thank you because you just
even the red crazy light. Oh man, it is just so beautiful.
And that's just beauty right there.
He's even got the strobe lights on the front.
And I can mark it off my bucket list. I got to drive the Ecto-1 and turn on the lights. And now I didn't get to drive it. That's actually Lauren driving it. Yeah. That's understandable.
We'll just pretend Brian's driving it because
I got to turn on the lights. Okay, so I turned the lights on the Ecto-1.
Officially, yeah. And then the drive out of the scene, but. Yeah, that's a little bit of insight to.
Now we have a little mini commercial.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. So this TV was in Papercut too, and it was the TV that I grew up watching in our kitchen. We put it on top of the refrigerator.
It's like an old 80s, probably even 70s.
This is before
TV
remote control. For all you youngsters out there.
And if you notice, there's the on button is broken in the corner because it fell off the refrigerator and it broke the on button. So to turn this TV on, you had to unplug it and plug it in.
Yeah, we had a screwdriver for the longest time, but then
the little tab broke off it. But
shout out to my little brother who's in the center.
It was that CJ Reed,
and then Reed Gillum.
No, Reed.
Yeah, not CJ. You always call him CJ. That's not his name at all.
Reed. Okay, Reed. I'm sorry. Reed. So we're playing homage to the Ghostbusters commercial and all those props: the toaster, the scientific equipment,
the other Ghostbusters
the camera.
Suit. The scientific
lab coats, everything was down to a T to the actual original 84 movie. I mean, the Radio Shack walkie-talkies, everything is just spot on. And I did all the research. That's the actual military
fight demons, entertain children. It's funny, Nolan broke the thing, and his tube was falling off.
It was really kind of cool. Funny. So it was really kind of cool to shoot this little short film that was actually started off as a deleted scene.
Yeah,
from
we
Papercut
spent so much time and money into the actual shooting of the movie. We're like, hey, let's go film with the actual car, and it totally made it worth it. So,
and just a quick shout out to Hank Braxtan because he was actually the first Ghostbusters fan film project that I worked on. Out of
Return of the Ghostbusters
out of Denver, Colorado,
which is basically Ghostbusters 3,
the fan version, and it came out. It was one of the first really high done Ghostbusters fans film, and that's what Jesse Sosa and Ian McIntosh worked on the Ghostbusters video game as well, and he was the person in the voiceover and the commercial scene, and those people worked on the Ghostbusters video game, and they saw Hank's film, they liked it so much that they put a homage of Hank's film into the Ghostbusters Ghostbusters video game
should
itself.
definitely show a screenshot right now.
Okay, yeah,
While we're talking,
I'll pull it up.
So that it's on
But
record.
if you go into the second
this is
floor,
what it looks like.
if you pull up into the second floor of the firehouse and look on the Egon's workbench, you'll see
Bright pink.
a bright pink
You'll see this.
drawing of a Ghostbuster, and it says to Uncle Egon from Ed. Ed was a character in the Ghostbusters fan film Return of the Ghostbusters. But see, here's the thing. The video game takes place in 1991, and Tim Johnson, I believe he's like 30, 35 or whatever. So he would have been a child in 91. So it's a child's drawing to Uncle Egon from Ed, and it was just that kind of Easter egg in that little Post-it note. That little drawing was in the opening cinematic between Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. That's the first thing you saw when Newbie comes up the stairs and looks at the Ghostbusters working on the proton pack. You see that stupid little pink paper in the middle, in the midst of them. So
it's pretty crazy.
That was pretty cool.
Congratulations to you guys. That's awesome.
And I worked on some art and some props on Hank's film, and I believe if I saw Facebook correctly, I don't want to spoil it, but I think Hank's working on a sequel to Return of the Ghostbusters.
Bum bum bum.
We're gonna end on that.
All right.
Thank you.
Shout out to you guys. Awesome. You inspire us all.